just like to hear more about buyers, and especially what the current state of the market is and what buyers can expect in light of the current, some would say, housing downturn.
All right. Well,
or buyer's market, if you want.
First of all, sellers are extremely reluctant to believe that they are not going to be receiving enough appreciation on the sale of the home that they've owned for 2 years that will put their son or daughter through Harvard.
So the home they bought in 05 or 06 that they might have on the market right now?
Right. They think that because everyone else made money in 2000 and 2002 and what have you, you know, Charlie just sold his place a couple of years ago for X amount of dollars, and they're expecting the same type of money. And I'm saying that that's true of a lot of sellers, but to be sure, not of all sellers. And as this downturn, as this softness continues, and I might add, by the way, that Lakeview, Lincoln Park, and the Gold Coast, although things have slowed there, they haven't died there. I mean, we're in much better shape in those 3 neighborhoods than we are in other neighborhoods. And again, part of that is because the neighborhoods are so desirable, and also the economic level of the people who live there, they can withstand interest rate fluctuations, which I think is another interesting point. Money started pouring into Lincoln Park, and so therefore people are not as interest rate sensitive as they were back in the 18% days. Now also, what I'm seeing now is that sellers will perhaps overprice their property at the very beginning, even though we try to counsel against that. Remember that they're our clients and we have to listen to them. We give them the best advice we can, but we'll say, well, we think your place is worth $4.99, and they'll say, well, geez, could you put it on the market for $5.49? And you know, we'll tell them the dangers inherent in that. And most of the smarter agents will say, well, we could do that if you wish, but again, the buyers that will be coming in will be working with agents who will be doing comparable market analysis or competitive market analysis, and they will note that this is, you know, too high priced.
So they'll see right through the wishful thinking.
They'll see through the wishful thinking, and in most cases they do. But I'm also a believer in what I call the greater fool theory. I mean, there are some buyers who come through who have the money, and this was happening a lot during the .com craze and the period of madness centered around Lincoln Park real estate, where we put a listing on the market on Monday, and by Wednesday we would have 5 offers, and frequently they would go for more than asking price. So what we're left with today, by the way, is a lot of people who paid too much money for their property in 04 and 05, and here they're expecting great appreciation, and it just plain doesn't exist. In order to get through, there's a reality as a realtor, as a professional, to this person who I have spent hours working on comparables and come up with a $4.99 asking price, and they say $5.49. I'm aware of the fact that if I don't figure some way to take that listing, that some other young agent, some hungry agent is going to come by and take it at any price. And so what I'll tell sellers who I think are unrealistic, that, okay, let's try it at your price for 30 days. And if it doesn't sell at your price, let's move it down to my price.
How do they react to that?
Positively. You know, positively. Now, as far as the buyer behavior is concerned, that's sort of interesting as well, too. All of them. I mean, I have not had any deal where the buyer has not come in with a low ball. I mean, a price perhaps 10% off of the asking price, maybe 15%, sometimes even 20%. They come in with some real ludicrous low balls.
He's getting like insultingly low? Like...
Well, yes, but again, you know, we used to use the term insulting. We're beginning to use it a little bit less, okay. Because in truth we want an offer, and yes, we frequently hear that the seller is insulted by that offer, but the truth of the matter is that if we raise the offer, the seller all of a sudden insults. I mean, so he becomes. Do realize, by the way, that
I think of them as entertaining offers.
Yes, entertaining offers. Neologisms, by the way, the creation of new words, is a sign of schizophrenia. So keep that in mind as if I come up with many more.
Let's see.
Many buyers, of course, being forewarned by their agents, by their family, by reading the newspaper, will come in with lowball offers. What I have found, though, is that the overwhelming majority of these buyers, once the counter offer and negotiation starts, they will come up to a realistic, acceptable price to the seller. It might be definitely not full asking price.
Mm-hmm.
And I might add, by the way, that back in the 80s and the 90s, it was almost easy to go in with an offer. You would go in with a 90% offer, and you would let yourself be negotiated up to 95%. Now, with the .com craze and subsequent to that, I mean, there were some properties that you'd have to go in with full price. If you wanted that property, you'd have to go in with full price, or in some cases, $1,000 over or whatever, just to, scare off anyone else. But back in the 80s, it was sort of simple. Now it's become much more comparable. And although I don't have recent statistics at my fingertips, I still think, though, we are selling at about 97, 98% of asking price.
That's kind of what your sense of the market.
That's what my sense of the market is. Again, buyers, when they realize that they can't get it for what they want to pay, will come up. And I've seen many deals stay together, regardless of how low they've come in. But again, you really can't blame the buyer, because again, they're reading all of this stuff, they're getting advice. One of the problems in our business is that the younger buyers are getting their information from their father or their grandfather, who might happen to live in Iowa or southern Indiana or something like that. Nice, noble places to live, but the real estate dynamic is totally different. So, they'll say, well, okay, they're asking $300,000, go in with a $200,000 offer, see if they'll take it. It's entirely, and now talk about insulting offers. I mean, that would be insulting.
I still find it entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, but you're not dependent upon, well, I guess maybe you are, Joe, on many different levels.